Guys. This is actually, believe it or not, the biggest game Rutgers has had in their stadium since 2006, Chris.
Yeah.
The Louisville Cardinals were ranked number 3 in the old defunct Big East when they came into Piscataway, New Jersey, and Rutgers upset them, and they charged the field and tore down the goalposts. And as you will hear later on in this show when we interview Alec, who's a student there in Piscataway at the State University in New Jersey, that would be Rutgers University. They're planning on tearing down those goalposts again if they can make it happen again today, Chris. Your thoughts? Is it going to happen?
Well, first of all, no, it's not going to happen. But hey, at the same time, let's not discount what Tony Schiano's done over there at
Or
Rutgers.
or Greg, him
Or
too,
Greg. Why do I keep calling him Tony? Why do I do
because
that?
that's his mafia brother, Tony.
Yeah,
Tony
I don't know.
Tony
Let's
Soprano Schiano.
maybe I don't. What this is just pure exhaustion, Eric.
I
No,
hear you, man.
um, no. What Greg Schiano has done has been phenomenal over there. We're 8 games into their season, and they're going bowling, Eric.
Yeah.
They are already eligible to go bowling. So, you know, I don't see them getting another win this year, but at the same time, I I, I could see a way where they might slip past an Iowa. I
Or
could see a way
Maryland.
where they might slip past a Maryland. But
Maryland at this point feels like they've checked out already.
yeah,
So it
yeah.
could be
So who knows? This
yeah.
could be an 8-win season for these guys, but it's not going to come at the expense of the Buckeyes. It's just not.
All right, let's dive into this preview, everybody. So, for those of you who will not be making the trip to Piscataway, New Jersey, much like Chris and myself, we'll be sitting at home watching this one in the friendly confines of the Buckeye basement. 12 p.m. on CBS. So, 12 nooner kick. It's on CBS this week. I think this is Ohio State's second game they've had on CBS this year. I think it was the first one, Indiana, and now this one. So nice to
The
be back
SEC
on that one.
decided to, or CBS decided to upgrade over that weak SEC this year.
There you go. There you go. Looking at the numbers here in this series, Ohio State leads the all-time series, 9 wins to 0. Last year, the Buckeyes won 49-10 in a spirited contest that included a fourth down fake punt that ended up being over on the sideline at Ohio State that created a scuffle where Greg Tony Schiano decided to run across the field and square up against one Ryan Rosy Cheek Assassin Day. And they came to words. Of course, both of them have downgraded that situation since then, saying that they were just defending their players. No big deal. They're both very competitive coaches, and quite frankly, that's how we want it to be. Last meeting in Piscataway, New Jersey, excuse me, 2021. Ohio State won that trip 52-13. Largest margin of victory came in 2016. That was a 58-0 shellacking. Ryan Day's record against the Scarlet Knights is 4-0. Schiano's record against Ohio State is 0-3 since leaving the Buckeyes when he was the defensive coordinator under one Urban Meyer and the first year under Ryan Day for the job in Piscataway, New Jersey, going back home to his home state and to the team that made him famous, including that 2006 win over Louisville in the Big East. Taking a quick look at those 9 games, as you will see, there's a lot of 56, 58, a 49, a 52. Ohio State has never scored less than 49 points against Rutgers, while the Scarlet Knights have never scored more than 27. I believe it's an average of 53-11 is the average score in this series. So something to keep your eye on because I, for one, do not think Ohio State, given Rutgers' ninth ranked defense in the country, and given the fact that Ohio State offensively has sputtered somewhat this year, you could say, and this is now the second road trip in as many weeks for the Buckeyes. I just don't think we're going to come close to those offensive numbers. This game I feel is going to be a little bit closer than what we've seen there in the past. Chris, let's dive into some of those stats. Who you want to start with? You want to start with Rutgers? Or you want to go with the Buckeyes?
Now let's go ahead and start with our Buckeyes, Eric. So Ohio State comes in with 428.8 yards per game average. That's good enough for 40th in college football. Third down conversions were up to 43.7%. That's 37th best in the game. Red zone scoring, 81.2%. You know what? That's 82nd best in the country. Defensively, though, ask anybody, we are for real. We're only giving up 260 yards a game, which is fourth best in the country. We've got a -2 turnover margin, 82nd best in the country. Penalties per game, we're at about 6.5, which is 85th best in the country. Individually, well, our passing attack is led by Kyle McCord. McCord comes in, he has 148 of 231 passing this season for 2,163 yards, 14 touchdowns versus 3 interceptions. Travion Henderson, man, he looked good last week. But Travion, he comes in leading the team in rushing, 68 carries for 457, 6 touchdowns. And of course, I know your favorite, Eric, Maserati Marvin Harrison. Couldn't
Terrible
help it.
nickname. Terrible nickname.
Marvin Harrison Jr. comes in 48 catches, 889 yards, 8 touchdowns on the season. Tackles, well, no surprise here. Tommy Two Thumbs leads the way in tackles with 61 tackles on the year. JT Tuimaluau, he leads our sacks with 4 on the season. Somebody has got to get another interception, Eric. We have a ton of
Yeah.
guys with 1 interception on the season, that being Josh Proctor, Denzel Burke, Steele Chambers, Lathan Ransom, and Jermaine Matthews Jr. Defensive touchdowns, again, can somebody help me out here, please? We have Josh Proctor, Tyleek Williams, and Jermaine Matthews Jr., all with 1 defensive touchdown on the season. And then kicking, we got Jaden Fielding. He's doing a good job this year. 10 of 11 on the field goals with a long of 41 yards, 32 of 33 on extra points. And that is Ohio State's offense. So let's flip over to Rutgers. Now, Rutgers comes in averaging 327.1 yards per game. That's 105th in the nation. Third down conversion, we've seen some success recently with this, Eric, and our defense stopping this. And they're only completing about 38.6% right now, 79th in college football. Red zone scoring, they are efficient, 86.2%, good for 61st in the nation. Defensively, as you mentioned, they are ranked 9th in the country, giving up only 276.8 yards per game. Turnover margin, they are +5. They are taking them away, 23rd best in the country. Penalties per game, 4.5, 16th best in the country, showing a lot of discipline. However, that being said, they really have played no one other than that team up north this season. Individually, we got Gavin Wimsett, who is their quarterback, leading the passing attack. 91 of 181 passing yards for 1,134 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So here's a guy with 50 less attempts than Kyle McCord, but has more interceptions and half the touchdowns. We've got Kyle Menangi. Menangi? I don't know. We got Kyle. And Kyle has 144 carries.
I don't even want to. I mean, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Menengai?
Menangi. I like Menangi.
Okay.
Menangai works too, though. Menangai Kyle. He's got 144 rushes, 744 yards, 7 touchdowns. Eric, I believe that is actually now second best in the Big Ten. I
Wow.
believe he has surpassed Blake Corum. We also have leading their way in receptions is Christian Dremel, 23 catches, 294 yards, 3 touchdowns. Defensively, they are led by Tyreen Powell and Deion Jennings, both who have 52 tackles on the season. 3 sacks each for Aaron Lewis and Wesley Bailey. These guys are as bad as Ohio State when it comes to interceptions. Man, we just got a ton of guys. We got Robert Longerbeam, Max Melton, Flip Dixon, Shaquan Loyal, and Jordan Thompson, all with one interception.
I love the name Flip Dixon and Shaquan Loyal. Those are
Shaquan
those
Loyal.
those are great names, dude.
It sounds like something out of a Key and Peele skit. It really does.
It does, yeah.
Hey, Ron, or or
Yeah,
or the one where they do all the teams, and it's like
yeah.
they just got these crazy names. Like, these guys belong right down there. You're right. Two forced fumbles for Robert Longerbeam. Kicking the ball, we got Jai Patel. He's 8 of 10 on field goals this year, has a long of 51 yards, 25 of 26 on extra points. So, Eric, that's where we are at statistically.
Chris, let's talk a little bit about some of the news that came down today, or this week, I guess we should say, before we move on.
There's a lot of Big
So
Ten news going on. There really is.
there is, but we're gonna avoid talking about that. Um, we'll leave that for the big show when they finally reveal what they're gonna do. But um, Mayan Williams is done for the season.
Sadly, yes, I've heard that.
Makes you wonder what the injury, like how severe it was before the Penn State game.
And did we push him back too soon?
And yeah, because he finished the game,
He's
and
a
then we
tough
net
kid, Eric. I don't think any of us have ever questioned that.
right. So remember at the beginning of the year when we were talking about maybe there's something going on behind the scenes. Dude was hurt, and so there's some rumbling that he might not come back next year, that he might be done. We'll see. We'll see what he does in the offseason. I'd like to see him come back. Would you like to see Mayan Williams come back for one more try?
Oh, I definitely would. I mean, you look at it, correct me if I'm wrong, but Chip graduates this year, correct?
Trey's going to leave for the NFL, and I think Chip's going to graduate. Yes.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I think Dallin Hayden is going to be a very big contributor next year. I know we've got some guys coming in who are going to contribute next year. We still don't know what's going on with Evan
Evan
Pryor
Pryor.
completely. I got a serious feeling we could be looking at a transfer for that young man. I hope not, but um, something's going on where he has just not been really on the field. So I would love to see Mayan come back. Um, there's nothing better than a good redemption story where let the kid take the whole time off he needs, get truly healthy, because man, he runs angry. He is nasty when he is out there and he is at 100%. And I think we're going to need that. I really do.
Excuse me. It's part of the problem of why he's hurt. I think his running
Oh, I'm sure it
style.
is. It's very physical, very all over the place. Just run through you rather than run around you. That you're
Yeah.
right. It's a very physical style of running, but if he can get back to that form, I would love to see him back in a Buckeye uniform one more year.
Lathan Ransom is probably not going to play this week. Sounds like his injury is going to keep him out. I would think probably for the foreseeable future. Maybe they try to get him back on the field by the Michigan game. Sounds like they're going to move Sonny Styles up to the second high safety and
Mhm.
bring Jordan Hancock down into the slot area where Sonny was playing. Do you like that move?
I do. Um, I'm a little concerned about what happens if we have any issues with Igbinosin or Denzel Burke as far as moving him to that position because obviously Hancock's had a couple of great games when he's filled in at corner. Um, but you know what? I do. I think
You
it's going
don't.
to be a good
I don't
move.
think you need him at corner though because you have Matthews Jr. now.
That's true. That's true. He's shown
So
himself to be a true talent. Um, yeah,
the other option would be to actually move Igbinosun
Igbinosin over.
inside
And you
and
know
bring.
what? That might not be a bad move because he is such a physical player.
But at this point in the season,
Yeah, it might be a tougher transition for him.
it might. But those are the options that I think the coaching staff is mulling over in practice for the foreseeable future until Lathan Ransom returns. So there's a little bit of update news for you that we've got as Chris and I record this here on Wednesday night.